somebody's crying. I know somebody and they call your name 1,000,000 times and still you never came. They go on loving you just the same. I know that somebody's trying. So please return the love you took from me. Oh please, you let me know if it can't be me. I know when somebody's lying. I know when somebody's lying. I know that somebody's lying. I know that somebody's lying. Give me a sign and let me know we're through. If you don't love me like I love you, but if you cry at night the way I do, I know that somebody's lying. So please return the love you took from me. Oh please, let me know if it can't be me. I know when somebody's lying. I know when somebody's lying. I know somebody and they cry for you. They lie awake at night and dream of you. I bet you never even know they do, but somebody's crying. I know somebody and they call your name 1,000,000 times and still you never came. They go on loving you just the same. I know that somebody's trying. So please return the love you took from me. Oh please, you let me know if it can't
that tells you if it's healthy. Yeah. So the green will tell you whether it's fine. Do you want to go on to your... Oh, have a look on here. Yeah. I just got to put something out and let everyone know what's going on.
Also you're using that guy.
Yes, can you hear me? Okay, this is Ross Solly commentating at the FIVB event in Shepparton. Can you hear me loud and clear? This is about the level. We don't have a commentator too. Not at the moment. We don't know. And you join us in Shepparton, in Victoria, in Australia. What a great morning this is. And it is fantastic to have the FIVB World Tour here. This is the men's first semi-final between Australia's McHugh and Schumann, taking on the Americans at Roberts and Lorenz, the Australians in the white singlets. And the Americans have played some pretty good beach volleyball this weekend. Of course, it is a one-star event, sudden elimination. And so far, the top seeds, McHugh and Schumann, they had an easy, or when I say an easy, it was a comfortable first-round win, but have had a little bit of a struggle yesterday afternoon in the quarterfinals. But they are back on track. This is a new combination from Australia. Of course, regular volleyball fans will know that Chris McHugh normally plays with Isaac Kappa on the World Tour, but Isaac Kappa is off recuperating from injury. And Damien Schumann usually plays with Joshua Court, but he is also recuperating from injury. So an opportunity for two of Australia's leading men volleyballers to try something a little bit different, a different arrangement. And so far it seems to be working okay for the two Australians. For the two Americans, well, they've come down under to have a crack at this one-star event. They had two solid wins yesterday. Not comfortable by any measure, but enough to get them through to the semi-finals today. The second semi-final in the men's competition will also be between Australia's Durant and Schubert against the O'Day brothers from New Zealand.
It's going to be a great matchup, folks, to get us underway.
Ben and Sam O'Day
rock solid skills as well.
Will be in the second semi-final. So we're just still waiting for the live scoreboard to begin operating, so we can let you know how things are travelling.
Taking a little bit of pace off the ball, snapping it down well. 7-4. First set action.
And a good block there from Chris McHugh. He has himself undergone a little bit of surgery post the unsuccessful Olympic qualifying campaign, went under the knife and had a little bit of work done. And this has been a steady road back to the sand for McHugh, and another big block there for Chris McHugh. So he is proving to be an enormous presence on the net at the moment for the big fella. His recovery much quicker than his partner Isaac Kappa, who is back in Adelaide at the high performance centre for Australian beach volleyball. And McHugh doing it all. Beautiful set from his partner Schumann there, but the Australians flexing their muscle right now and really asserting some authority on this semi-final here at Shepparton.
7 points scored in the first 2 sets. It's to level out for playing conditions, but I'm not sure it gets any better than this. Early Sunday morning in Shepparton, beautiful cool air.
Yeah, I saw you.
McHugh now to the service line, and that is an ace. So the last 5 minutes for Chris McHugh, I'm sure that he will like to cut out this footage and use it for future job interviews, because he is having a very nice time of it. A couple of good blocks, a nice spike, and then an ace to follow up. And how about that? Then he clips the net with that serve.
Big ball control there, this USA combination. Little breakfast pancake. Yeah. We don't see enough passing with the pancake anymore. That was underrated skill. 6-10.
So the Americans rest the serve back. Roberts to the service line. And a nice little roll there from Damien Schumann. Certainly not the tallest player on the tour, but very, very effective. And his court coverage is what makes him a little bit special. Yeah, just oversetting there from the Americans. Roberts putting a little bit too much on that, and that was a nice little setup there for Chris McHugh. Not many problems at all. The Americans call a timeout, and they're in a bit of trouble at the moment, but look, it's a long way to go. As we saw last night in a women's semi-final, the German team against the Australian team, the Germans lost the first 7 points of the match, 7-0. And everyone was thinking they were going to get an early night off, but then the Germans fought back and won the match 2-1. So do not worry when things are going a little bit pear-shaped early on. But the Australians would feel very comfortable with their start at the moment. Great to be here. This is the first FIVB World Tour event to come to Australia since 2008. 2008, and look, as if you're watching around the world, you would know Australia famous for its beaches, but this is an inland event, the first time that Australia has hosted an inland event of this magnitude. They'd be liking what they see at the moment with the Australians looking nice and solid, although that block didn't quite go the right way. McHugh got into position but couldn't quite direct it back over the net. So the Americans, the timeout working well for them.
Schumann.
Damien Schubert, ever present on the court.
Yeah, sure. Here in his home state, which is great. They're in charge of these Aussie volley rooms.
Oh, that's a really, really good placement there from the taller of the Americans. As we go to a technical timeout now.
We're going to take a technical timeout, folks, when we get to 21 points in the first set. In the second set, both teams get to sit down and rehydrate. Scoreboard currently 13-8.
13-8 is the score, I'm told. 13-8, so the Australians in ascendancy early on in this match, the first set. It is Super Sunday here in Shepparton.
On Fox Sports 1 will be the coverage of today's action. We'll be shooting it all throughout the day. The men's and women's bronze and gold medal matches.
Just giving his partner a few tips. Certainly the more experienced of the two players. 13-8 is the score. 13-8, the Australians leading the Americans. And it is Adam Roberts to the service line. There we go, we've got score on the board. Excellent.
The flags at Shepparton Beach, nice and early. Big shout out to our team out there. Doing a great job. Yeah, big welcome to all our team out there on the court, ladies and gentlemen, all our officials and our wonderful...
So the Australians 15-8 and doing it very, very nicely at the moment. We had a bit of rain overnight here in Shepparton. It was really hot yesterday. And a bit of rain overnight, so you can see the sand looks a little bit wet underfoot, which the boys will not mind at all after yesterday scorching their feet on the sand. Good block there again from Chris McHugh.
Wow.
16-8 now, and Damien Schumann to the service line. Damien Schumann grew up in Melbourne, closest capital city to Shepparton. It's about 2 hours south of here, of Shepparton. So Melbourne is, of course, for many of our viewers, considered to be the sporting capital of Australia. 16-9 now. Chris McHugh certainly having a nice morning this morning. He's obviously woken up on the right side of the bed. Everything he touches at the moment is turning to gold for the Australians. 17-9.
Oh, not this time again. Adam and Marty, the USA team, trailing by 7-10.
Now Adam Roberts.
Adam Roberts back at the service line.
Oh. Well, Schumann gets up so high for a little fella. When I say little fella to mere mortals like us, he's not a little fella at all, but by beach volleyball standards. But he gets up so high, and Martin Lorenz was in perfect position there, but Schumann just able to put enough spin on the ball to make sure that it would balloon out off the hands. So Schumann to the service line. Ooh, that got very big very quickly on Adam Roberts.
Classic Schumann.
Probably didn't need to play at it, but I think it was going to follow him everywhere he went on the court, that serve. So good serve from Schumann. That time Roberts gets it right. And perfect set there from his partner Lorenz. Roberts able to direct it to his corner, to the vacant corner of the sand. 20-10, so it's a set point now. Well, I think that's wrong. I'm not sure that score's right. We're just checking it out. Yeah, that's right, 19-11. Of course, the Americans did win that last point, so 19-11 now. Martin Lorenz serving. Goes straight to Chris McHugh, who will enjoy that very, very much because he likes getting up and smashing the ball. And now we have a set point for the Volleyroos, the Hello World Volleyroos. Chris McHugh, Damien Schumann looking for a place in this afternoon's gold medal match.
Wow, what a lead from Schumann.
Late judgment there from Schumann, but it was the right call. He looked like he was going to play it, but decided at the last minute that he thought it would go out, and he was right. There it is, 21-11 for the first set to the Australians. Good start for the Australians. Let's have a look at some of the highlights, and you can see there that from that final point, just not being able to hold it back enough to put it into the sand within the parameters of the court. So 21-11, a good start there for the Australians. Early morning here in Shepparton. It's about coming up to 8:15. So still The sun hasn't taken over. It's still behind the low trees. So a little bit of, when I say chill in the air, I know if you're watching in the Northern Hemisphere, you'll think I'm talking absolute rubbish. But at the moment, with the wet sand and the Australian boys feeling very much at home in these wonderful conditions. So, set 2. What can the Americans do? Somehow they've got to try and counter the power of Chris McHugh and just his presence on the net. They had a lot of trouble trying to get the ball past McHugh. That's a bit more like it. Perfect set there from Lorenz. Set it up nicely for his partner just to sail in and to plant the ball into the sand. So the Americans are on the board here in the second set, an early lead, 1-0.
He's donated his sunglasses to the officials to thank them for volunteering. That is funny.
And again, McHugh, Schumann is just setting it up perfectly. It's just manna from heaven for McHugh. Getting Rolls-Royce service there from his partner. And then follows it up with a big serve. And, well, the block was there, but this time he was a little bit far back from the net, so the Americans able to capitalise. They take a 2-1 lead now.
Coming back to serve for Team USA. They're leading the second set 2-1.
And again, this time it was Schumann doing the cross-court spike and doing it very, very nicely. A bit too hot to handle there for Adam Roberts. Point for point in this second set, we're at 2-all. Schumann serving. Oh, McHugh gets a beautiful work from McHugh. Oh, and Roberts gets the net. Schumann gets a chance to put it away and does it well. That is a great point for the Australians. And the crowd really, really enjoyed that. Some excellent recovery work. Really, they had no right to win that point, but that was just a great bit of play there. McHugh stretching full length, diving into the wet sand to keep that ball alive. And then the Americans with a service error.
Marty Lawrence just missing on the baseline.
4-2.
Aussies up by 2.
That's really, really good placement from Martin Lorenz. Just took the pace off. There was plenty of room there at the net and just rolling it over to give them their third point. And the match score 4-3 now as we have a change of ends at every 7 points.
Australia versus the USA. Second set.
Yeah, McHugh this time going just for the placement rather than the power. And that's the key, mixing it up, making sure that you don't become too predictable. Certainly nothing predictable at this stage about the play of the Australians, but 4-all. So slams it into the back corner of the court. Australians keeping their nose in front. They won the first set 21-11. Had a run of points mid-set that really put them in the driver's seat. That is a... Oh, my goodness. Oh, no, you have to be kidding. What an incredible point from the Americans. That was amazing coverage. It really was just a... Look at that from Adam Roberts and then Martin Lorenz. It really was just throwing your arm out and hoping for the best. And it got the best. It clipped the top of the net, rolled over, and the Australians, with a wry smile on their face, there's not much they could do about that. They did everything right. 5-all now, and this time McHugh spikes it straight into Roberts, sorry. And some great coverage here from the Americans. They are really digging deep, but that one goes just a little bit long from the Americans, but they are working really, really hard. Their ground coverage is spot on.
6-5, the Aussies with the lead now.
Nice work there from Adam Roberts this time. McHugh, when he gets it right, it's very right, and his placement is perfect. So the Australians, great disappointment for Australia that they were unable to qualify. And that is a ace there from Chris McHugh, straight through the middle. It never looked like going out, but I think the problem was that Lorenz and Roberts thought each other was going for that ball, and in the end nobody did, and it just sailed straight through the middle and brought up the sand, and that is 8-6 to the Australians at the change of ends. Yeah, great disappointment for the Australians that they were unable to qualify a men's team for the beach volleyball in Rio. They haven't had a team at the Olympics since 2008. So nice little roll shot there for the Americans. So it's going to be a big effort to now try and get a team ready and qualified for Tokyo to stop the rot, I suppose, in many ways. As Martin Lorenz gives up a soft point there, serves into the net. McEwen and his partner Kappa, Isaac Kappa, were the great hope for Australia, but some injuries caused some problems, slowed them down a bit, and they missed a couple of very important events. And in the end, at the Continental Qualifiers in Cairns last year, just not able to get the job done. Just going long, not by much though. And Damien Schumann, that was a big call to let that go, but it was the right call in the end. And a nice little mini break here for the Australians. 11-7, having won the first set, 21-11. The Americans call a timeout and a chance to regroup, because this match is now slipping away from them. Conversely to the Australian situation with the Olympics, of course, there is an incredible depth of talent amongst American beach volleyball playing stock. So if you're someone like Adam Roberts and Martin Lorenz, there are a lot of teams of similar quality and better that you need to hurdle if you are to become an Olympic possibility. Damien Schumann and Joshua Court was Australia's second team at the Continental Qualifiers last year. The question in Australian beach volleyball at the moment is which partnership will go forward? Who will play with who into the future? You would think that if Schumann and McHugh are able to get the job done here in Shepparton, it'll set them up nicely for a few events anyway, until Isaac Kappa and Joshua Court both return. But at the moment, these two getting the job done, looking very, very controlled out there. Damien Schumann there, great spike across court, gives the Australians a 12-8 lead. Of course, it is best of 3 for beach volleyball for the semi-finals, for any matches. This is the first game of the day. There'll be another men's semi-final after this, and then the women's semi-finals. That's a much better spike there from Roberts. And we are heading to, I think, a technical timeout now. Yes, we are. It's Australia 12, the United States 9.
Real pity, tall man last night that rain came through after the matches last night. It was a really great vibe here in the park. There were lots of families. Yeah. Polecat having a great night. The great Shepparton City Council with a huge thumbs up from us. 2 thumbs up. And everyone that came out, and we're hoping to really turn this into something iconic and epic, an annual that we're going to come out to each year and rock the Shepparton World Tour. I think just about every volleyballer I know in our circles is pretty pumped with what we've seen here and what we can turn this into. So and look at all the local crew down here nice and early.
So just to bring you up to speed with what other matches we've got on this morning. After this, we will have the second men's semi-final between, it's a trans-Tasman affair between the Australian pair of Cole Durant and Zachary Schubert, and they'll be taking on the New Zealand brothers, Ben O'Day and Sam O'Day, who looked very strong yesterday afternoon after a shaky start. So that'll be the second men's semi-final. And then the women's semi-finals, first one, Australia's Bell and Laird against Germany's Behrens and Schumacher. And then the second semi-final, another German team, Kortzinger and Seifert against Canada's Gordon and Saxton. So that is the semi-final lineups for this morning as the Americans here through Martin Lorenz trying desperately to get back into this set. They trail 10-12. The Australians in the white singlets to the left of screen. Good block there from Lorenz. Now the Americans have a chance. Well, that was really well played by the Americans. They hung in there and hung in there until they finally got control. And then a good roll shot there from Lorenz. Schumann maybe didn't need to play it, but took the decision to. And the Australians straight away deciding to call a timeout after just 1 point back on the court, but they've obviously seen something that they're not happy about, so they're sitting down to have another chat about it. They just had the technical timeout, so 1 point later they're sitting down again, mulling over what
big shout out as well, seeing a lot of faces that have volleyball legends and crew
is going on.
That have all travelled from interstate and lots of crew have come down for this one.
Sorry, so it's 12-11 now.
Big shout out for getting down to this as well.
Sneaking back
to come and support it. So
into this set.
people driving from Adelaide and up from Melbourne, obviously. Yep, Sydney, Gold Coast. Yeah, love it. So big shout out to all you guys for making the effort to get here. And, we've got a pretty big day to come. It's going to be awesome. But right now, can you put your hands together? Warm them up a little bit, bring out Team USA and the boys, your Volleyroos, Team Australia. Listen to them early in the morning. This is awesome. Big thanks, Shepparton.
So this match now at a very interesting stage. The Australians lead 1 set
Can we get the Aussies into a goal
to love. It's 21-11 to the Australians in the first set, but the Americans are now, after getting as far as 3 points behind at one stage, are now back to within just 1 point of the Australians. And a bit calm coming back there to Chris McHugh and Damien Schumann, just trying to right the ship.
Really well. Looked like he was going to snap it
and a good roll shot there from McHugh gives the Australians that 2 point buffer again, 13-11 with Damien Schumann on the service line. And that is a very, very good serve. Just swinging away and just continuing to swing away from Roberts. 14-11. McHugh doing a great job on the net there, gets himself a second chance, but the American, oh no, just not able to finish that off there for Roberts. They worked really, really hard, but suddenly this game is now looking a little bit ugly for the Americans. They worked so hard to get back in touch. They got it back to 11-12, but now 3 points in a row to the Australians, and all of a sudden it's looking very serious. And there you go, there's Schumann. Oh, wow, that could easily have gone in, and it would have been an incredible save. But credit to the Americans there. They really put the pressure on. They put the foot on the throat of the Australians. And it's 15-12. And another good set there from Schumann. Makes it very, very easy for his partner, Chris McHugh, to put that away. 16-12 now.
Can Chris McHugh get on a bit of a jump serve streak from this end of the bench?
And a big ace. Wow, that is not the time for the Americans to have indecision,
That would be a yes.
because that just
So the ace,
sailed
ladies and gentlemen, anytime you see an ace on
straight
centre
between
court,
the two of
you've
them.
got to do the big ace symbol above your head.
What a disappointing result there for
You know that one? You know how to do that? We'll get the Holleyroos to show it to you in a minute. That would be no.
the Americans.
All right,
Now
13,
17-12. And we're looking at the last caboose, I suppose. The last caboose is rolling on down the tracks, and the Americans, they're left standing at the station at the moment. Do they make one last effort to hitch a ride on that caboose, or is it a train long gone? Oh, McHugh, yes, he's been given the all clear. That was okay. And 18-13, those big long arms might suggest that the caboose looks like it is well and truly rolling into the distance. Although there's a nice spike from Roberts just to get the Americans back on the serve. 14-8.
Getting into a worrying part of this match for the USA combination.
As you can see, the sun is starting to take over on the court. Those seats on the far side are all in the direct sunshine, so this side of the court, it's quite full. There are a lot of spectators that come in, which is fantastic, but very sun conscious in Australia. McHugh now. 19-14, 2 points away from the match.
Schumann going for
Just going wide there, the Schumann roll.
A little bit behind his head, I feel. Didn't quite snap.
Was there? No, yeah, that's right. So 19-15. 19-15.
A rare error out of Damien Schumann.
Martin Lorenz, these guys would need to do something very special. They didn't get to play on centre court yesterday. Both their matches were on court 2. And there's a chance that Spike not going quite right there for the Australians. So another point for the Americans. That's a couple in a row now. 16-19. I think until you see the 2 up there, mentally you might always give yourself a chance. But as soon as you see the 2 appear up there in the... Oh, and that's just not a time for a service error. Unfortunately, because it has presented the Australians with match point for Damien Schumann and Chris McHugh. 1 match point saved for USA, 17-20. Still a lot of work to do, though. Otherwise, the Australians will be through to the gold medal match later this afternoon for here in Shepparton. Can Schumann finish it off? No, Americans have got another chance. And that is a really, really good spike. A perfect set from Martin Lorenz. Adam Roberts just able to get up and slam the ball across the court. 3 points in a row now for the team of Roberts and Lorenz in the United States. 18-20. Still 2 match points, though. Good serve again, though. But Schumann with another chance. And a great block there from Lorenz. And another great block from Lorenz. Martin Lorenz. Wow, Martin Lorenz. That is incredible. 2 fantastic blocks, and then the presence of mind just to smash that ball. All of a sudden, the Australians are starting to feel a little bit edgy. They had... And that is common sense. Common sense prevails in the end. It was a little bit nerve-wracking. The Americans put it all on the line. They clawed their way back to 19-20. But in the end, Chris McHugh, using all his experience, decides that power was not the option. Just deft placement was what was required. And well done to the Australian team. They are the first team through to the gold medal playoff. The brand new combination from Australia, the taller Chris McHugh and his partner Damien Schumann, they will go through to the gold medal match, and they will play the winner of the next men's semi-final. That will be a match-up between another Australian team, Cole Durant and Zachary Schubert, taking on the O'Day brothers, Ben and Sam. And that match due to start in around now. Set down for 9 o'clock Shepparton time.
Yeah, that was my bad.
So boys look pretty happy. Q and Schubert. I think they'll be very, very glad to get away with that one. At the end there, it was looking a little bit ugly. But they didn't panic. And Chris McHugh finishing it off. So 21-11, 21-19. Nice start to the day for the home country. We'll be back with the second game, the second semi-final in around 20 minutes time. We'll be back for a preview of the second semi-final.